everyone. Welcome back to Candid Julie. For those who are joining us for the first time, my name is Julia Dwera. And for the returning subscribers, thank you for your support. So today we are starting our trending topics segment with the story of two pastors that have been trending. Yeah. So that is Pastor Ezekiel Odero and Pastor Paul Mackenzie. So with me here is Mr. Obwaya, who is going to aid us in this discussion. And of course, you can also please feel free and join the conversation by commenting in the comment section. Yes. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on April 15th, Paul Mackenzie, that is the pastor of Good News International Church, was arrested because 4 of his followers died. So how did they die? They starved to death. I'm going to start with who is Pastor Paul Mackenzie.
Okay. Thank you, Julie, for inviting me. Today, the topic is rather interesting because we are tasked to talk about the people of God, the men of God. Of course, we know.
It's not an easy.
Yeah, it's not an easy topic to discuss boldly, and I must say, when we're discussing this, we limit our level of expression because there are various interests attached to this. But
they have quite a number of followers.
Of course.
We are not going to do much of criticizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, but just to state the fact as it has been written, because we've also researched on the same issues.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mackenzie is just a normal human being. That is to start off.
Yes.
He was a taxi driver in Malindi,
Yes.
and he hustled just like any other man can hustle. So Mackenzie has always believed that he had a call from God to do his work. Okay, and he started this by moving into other people's churches and co-preaching with the owners of these churches. Okay, so unfortunately, I think this guy was too vocal, or he had some sense of self-preservation that he was much better. So he wanted everything to go his way. Okay.
Okay.
So with time, there were always wrangles, and you see when there are wrangles in the church, it always don't go well. The owners of the church would always want to run the church the way they want.
Yes.
So he ended up being kicked out of those churches.
Okay.
Yeah. So after this, he decided now to start his own church because he believed that he has the capabilities. He had been preaching for some time.
Yes.
Okay. So he started his small evangelical center known as the Good News International, of course. Yeah. So this is when he started preaching. This place was in Migingo, a small place in Malindi. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that is how he started his preaching work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So in such occasions, you always they are always called by God. Was this the same case? Do you think? What do you think?
So, of course, whenever somebody is starting such type of activity, they believe, and they also have people who follow them and believe that it is a call from God.
Yes.
So in this context, whatever business he started of starting a church was a call from God.
During his ministry,
Yes.
how much wealth did he accumulate? What do you think?
Mackenzie was a taxi driver.
Yes.
And we all know that the pastors then, maybe in the 90s and towards 2000, they were not earning much.
Yes.
So Mackenzie never had that much wealth. Okay. However, it is rumored, or rather alleged, that this guy had the power to brainwash people. So there was one of his congregants called Kennedy Mosharo. Was a rich guy who had some properties in Lamu.
Yes.
So this guy went to his properties, sold them at a throwaway price, and then handed all the money to Mackenzie.
What?
Yeah, weirdly, or surprisingly, 2 months down the line, this guy died a mysterious death. So all the amount that was given to Mackenzie was left to Mackenzie. So with that, you can imagine what you could do with 20 million in 2003,
No,
2004.
I'm just thinking, how can you give that much money to a pastor?
Yeah, he's a pastor, he's a man of God. He has preached on the second coming of Jesus. And actually, it is said that he predicted that the coming of Jesus was the following year. And I think this guy restored a lot of fear on his followers by saying that whoever will be alive then will have harsh judgments. So in return,
you need to die?
Yes.
So the only way you could die is just to fast.
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
All right. So through these brainwashing allegations, that's how he made it.
So that is how he made it. And then, of course, he also commercialized on TV station. So after he acquired this money, he made use of that money.
And by then, like most people, most churches,
it's business.
They always have TV broadcasting.
Yeah, but you see, Julie, with the TV, somebody does not need to come to your church. I can watch your services even when I'm in whichever part of the world.
So your gospel reaches...
Yeah, they are actually using it to break the gap of physical attendance. If you realize these days, they even have till numbers where you can send if you feel the service touched you. So that could also be a way of collecting revenue.
Okay, and then who is now Ezekiel? Because these two pastors have been trending. So who is, we need to know who is Ezekiel, Pastor Ezekiel, the famous.
Okay.
Pastor Ezekiel.
Wow. So Ezekiel as well, just like Mackenzie, is also a man. Actually, Ezekiel was brought up in Homa Bay County, in an island called Rusinga. Yeah, so of course, the background was not that well off, however much that the father was employed by the KWS.
The Wildlife Service?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but then whatever he was earning seemed to have not been enough. Because we are told, there are allegations that while this guy was in his secondary school, he would sneak at night to go fish to supplement whatever the mother was giving out. So he was a fisherman. Yeah. Of course, this continued. He has become fishers of women in this case. Of course, we know him for.
Why do you say that?
Of course, we know. While Mackenzie emphasizing on preaching and fasting to death so that you meet Jesus, Ezekiel is loved among the female gender for ensuring that you have a good life and you're protected from Pango Wakando.
Okay, so like Ezekiel, I heard that Ezekiel preaches more about success in relationships.
For women especially.
For women.
Yes.
And in marriages. By the way, nimesikia ukienda huko unapata bwana. I don't know.
I think there is a reason for that.
Okay.
Remember when Ezekiel first met Sarah?
Yes.
The families declined that he couldn't marry Sarah.
Why?
Because Sarah was a primary dropout.
Really?
And of course, the Luos,
the Momabians, the South, the people from the South.
Yeah, but then he held on to the love of his life.
Yes.
Yeah, and to make it more interesting, Sarah was married using 2 goats and a 15 shillings ring.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think he draws the passion for ladies from what she sees in the wife.
Okay. So that explains the huge number of followers being the women.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what is now? So that's when alianzisha the church, the New Life.
Yeah. So you see, after he had studied, I think his dad wanted him to further his studies in Mombasa Polytechnic, but then he never completed. So he dropped out and joined Pastor Pius Moiru. So that is where he started his ministry work.
Oh, kuna Nuru Gizani, the Maximum Church, something. He was always famous, by the way, when I was growing up.
Yeah. So we know who Pius used to be. He used to move the mass.
Yeah.
And then you can imagine if you were one of the choir members who is used to move the mass.
So he was a choir member in this church also?
Yes.
Okay, so hapa ndiye akaenda.
Yeah, so this is where he met the love of his life, Sarah, and together they started a small church in Shanzu.
In
Shanzu, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So like, how did Pastor Ezekiel accumulate that much wealth?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Julie, these days, if you are a person who can move the mass and you can assure people of a future that is full of honey and milk, as they say in the Bible,
Yes.
many people will come to hear what you are saying, right? And they don't just come. These people come and they give tithes and offerings. So that is the first source.
Yes.
Remember, this guy was so good with Pastor Pius Muiru's church. So, of course, he got a number of people who trusted in him. That is the first way.
Okay.
The second source that we could say as being the source of income is that we all know the famous holy water from Ezekiel, right? Yeah.
I've not heard much about
Okay, so I don't know whether it is associated with Nyota, but it is alleged that this water, when you take it, it opens up all your locked doors of success. So Pastor Ezekiel sells this water. That's the first thing. Then there's the anointing oil. Then there's the handkerchief. I don't know how they use this handkerchief, but the combination of these three goes to at least 2,000. At least. Meaning the least you can.
I heard that the handkerchief valued at 100 bob, and the holy water is the one that they sell at 2,000 per bottle.
Look at that. So
yeah.
and
you can imagine the number of followers he has.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes.
That's too much.
You can imagine the time he came to Kasarani.
Yes.
The field was full
to the brim.
Yes.
For the first time, actually, he's the person who failed.
Yeah, there was an agitation that he even defeated Baba in filling the Kasarani field.
Yes, and even when he came to Kisumu,
yeah.
it was also so full.
Yeah. So these are all massive sources of wealth. And then maybe just to jump into something which could have contributed to increase in wealth accumulation.
Okay.
In 2018, there were so many allegations against Mackenzie. Okay?
Mackenzie,
okay. Paul.
Okay.
Yes. So remember, there was a time that there were 4 gentlemen who moved from Webuye to his church. 1 never came back, but 3 went back. And Paul Mackenzie was in the headlines. That was the first, yes.
It's not the first time we are actually hearing from him?
Not really. Actually, Mackenzie had been arrested before. Yes. And during that time, the then Dr. Alfred Mutua ordered the closure of his TV station, but he declined. Yeah. So he continued radicalizing people as alleged. And at some point, he was advising people not to go to church. Not to go to church, not to go to hostel, I mean. Okay?
Hospital, I heard that he was against modern health care and education.
Yes. So it was like Western education is evil, and that the education that is given to us will only take us to hell. And then he was also saying that the healing only comes from God and not from the hostel.
And people trusted such teachings. Like I heard the other day that the brother, I don't know if it's the brother or the family member, one of the family member, saying that he never forced anyone not to take their kids to school or to the hospital. So
actually,
is it the brainwash now? Is that what we call the brainwashing part?
The moment you devoted your life to the man of God, you will not question whatever he says. So yes, he never forced someone not to take the children to school, but through the brainwashing effect.
Yes.
This guy influenced people to stop taking children to school.
So that is now Paul Mackenzie.
Yes.
So here we have Paul Mackenzie having so much wealth through what is said or what is rumored to have been, much of, I think it's swindling people to give their whole wealth. But I even heard that the church members at times they would purchase a land, so it's through hire purchase. By the time you finish paying for that, and now you need to own it, you die
mysteriously.
Yeah.
Remember, there was a time when Aisha Juma also got irritated by this church.
Okay.
And Aisha Juma was like, we need to go and ban this church. And he threatened Aisha Juma.
Wow.
Yes.
So then that means he has some people, because the question is, where has these people, the officers, the local authorities, where have they been now that this thing, for it to reach this level?
I think that remains a very big question. Yeah, when we have to talk about when all these things was happening, where were them? Where were the government agencies? But I want to take you to how Ezekiel became wealthy and how he relates to Mackenzie.
Yeah, so that's actually the next sub topic we are supposed to delve in.
Yeah.
That is, what is the relationship? Because you see now, Pastor Mackenzie was arrested on April 15th, okay? Then later, on Thursday, that is the 26th of April, then Ezekiel gets arrested. So I understand from the prosecution team that Ezekiel was arrested because he was associated with the deaths that were found in, that is?
Shakahola.
Shakahola.
So remember, the moment Mackenzie hit the headlines about the boys coming back, about the closure of his TVs, about Aisha Juma and the rest, the pressure was so much.
Yes.
And because Lion, it's like he was facing threats all over, what he did, he decided to sell his TV station to Ezekiel.
Because even on today's proceedings, court proceedings in Shanzu, the prosecution found out that there was a large amount of money that was wired into
Mackenzie's account.
Yes.
Exactly. Because it was like now running away. It's like if you've been doing something wrong and you've been caught, the next thing is shift. Okay? So that is what Mackenzie was doing. He sold his TV station, he sold his church, he liquidated it, he sold some parts of the cars. And then he moved, not moved as a place of living, but he used the proceeds of such sales to buy land in Shakahola in the name of starting farming.
So it was meant for farming.
Exactly.
At this point, the family states that Mackenzie had already given up on the ministry.
So you see, based on this trail, he had given up on the ministry. He liquidated the church, he sold the TV station, he sold the cars, and went to start business. But, okay, I am not saying that it is the fact. But I believe that was a diversionary tactics that he was using, maybe to fool the government that, yes, you wanted me to close my TV station, I have closed it or I no longer have it. You get that? So he moves to Shakahola in the name of starting the farm. The question comes, what were these people going to do to Shakahola? These people are now dying.
It is said, it's rumored that they just followed. You see, when you are giving up something, it's always said that there are those who trust in you, or those who won't want to leave you, and they'll always go with you. But I think, I don't know.
Remember at some particular point, in defense,
we need to know a lot, actually.
In defense of his brother, Robert, the brother to Mackenzie, said that in 2019, his brother Paul Mackenzie said that the call by God on his mission was over.
Okay.
So that was an explanation that I stopped preaching. So whoever was coming to me, not because of my church.
Yes.
You get that?
Yes.
So we don't know in this case, was he still preaching? If he was not, what were these people staying? Why were these people staying in Shakahola to the extent that they died? Why was he still preaching that these people fast to death in his Shakahola farm, which was meant for farming? And maybe finally, was there farming taking place in this Shakahola farm? Because 2019 to date is a long time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so we need to ask such questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot that is in mystery.
Yes.
And let's come back to how they know each other. So apart from that relationship, because today, that is the 26th, in the Shanzu court, the lawyer to Ezekiel,
Yes.
explained that actually was in defense, and said that the prosecution team is just using this to sanitize Paul.
Okay.
Yes. The fact that people went to the church, the New Life Church, and they were at the dying moments. I don't know what he meant by that, but that means also, that brings me to another issue, that apart from preaching on the success of women, he was also healing some people, because I heard that those who are infected with HIV/AIDS would go to his church for healing. Yeah, they will travel all the way long. In fact, I heard that its congregants are from
Western part of Nyanza, Coast, and a few from Tanzania and Uganda.
Yeah, so the lawyer in his defense, the lawyer to Ezekiel in his defense, was trying to say that the people who died in the church compound or in the church premise were at their last moments, and that's why.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it. I get it. Even me, if I were the lawyer, what would you say in his defense? You know, this guy sees a lot of people. And these people, most of them come that they want to be healed. And some are people who are alleged to have tested various hospitals. And this is their last resort, that this is the man of God.
And then they die on the line before receiving the healing, or what?
So based on the lawyer's information,
yes,
they die while waiting for the man of God to see them. But that is why I'm saying there are a lot of questions that need to be unearthed.
The next question that needs to be unearthed,
yes,
the way you've said it,
yes,
is where were these people buried? Because
no,
if you travel from, let's say, Kisii,
yes,
to Mombasa, and you don't come back, days later, months later, years later, you don't come back, where are you buried? I think this is why this Pastor Ezekiel is linked to the Mackenzie.
Okay, for me, I still have to wait in this way. Remember, these people were leaving their homes to go to these churches.
Yes.
Usually, they would say, we are going to the man of God.
Yes.
And the moment you start questioning the kind of man of God this is, yes, they would cut communication.
Okay.
If you realize that is what they used to do. Okay? They cut communication with you like you want to sway them to get off God's work. That is what most of the people who are going here, who had been brainwashed, were doing.
Okay.
So, I come from Kisii.
Okay.
You said you went to the man of God in Mombasa. The last place I can reach is Mombasa. And many a times you realize that we say one day he will come back. But even if he doesn't, of course, sometimes how long should someone look for you if you are an old, maybe somebody who was sane? Let's take for example, this air hostess who sold her property worth 7 million and went to Mackenzie. If the moment she says that, I've gone to the man of God in Mombasa, and then you say like, hey, you've gone to the man of Mombasa and you are not coming back, or maybe which kind of a man of God, then she cuts you off. What will you do? In fact, this lady will use all the means to ensure that you don't get.
What happened to Nyumba Kumi initiative, where we get to know our neighbors? Where are they?
Right. Where's the Nyumba Kumi? Where's the DCI? These are questions we need to ask. It means whatever was happening, these people knew.
Do you think it's because they have connections in government?
I just feel it was fear, because this guy is so influential. You get this? And therefore, maybe a Mujikumi guy. What will happen? If this guy had the power to threaten a women representative, who are you as a Nyumba Kumi guy to tell him what to do? And remember, the people who were fasting, there were supervisors
Yes.
who were supervising the fasting in the wilderness. And these are the same people who were overseeing the funeral services. So it could be, and remember, an 800-acre land is not a small land. And most of the coastal town areas are sparsely populated.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, this thing could be happening on one hand without the Nyumba Kumi guys knowing.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, they could have known, but what else could they have done? This guy has money. Remember, for example, Mackenzie. Mackenzie is wealthy. He has money. Look at Pastor Ezekiel. This guy has an hostel. This guy has a university. This guy has a 5-star hotel. This guy is having a school.
I understand it's in the
around Malindi.
Because he also acquired land.
What, 65 acres?
65 acres of land.
Yes.
Yes. So all these are there. He's also building a university.
He's building a university.
International school also.
And remember, the moment you have a 5-star hotel, you must be licensed.
Yes.
So the government was aware. Where was this guy getting money? But then they just decided to turn a blind eye on the nitty-gritty activities that was happening in this church.
Yes. What do you think? Maybe as we wind up the conversation, what do you think? Why is it that the women fall into this kind of captain?
Right. So I would borrow from a scholar known as Karl Marx. Okay. Karl Marx once said that religion is the opium of the oppressed.
Okay.
In our current societal settings, for me, the women have been tasked with carrying most of the burdens associated with stabilizing the family. Most of the men, they are either out doing work or are drunkards. Or when they are in the homes, they don't care much
so
about
the society has put so much on the women?
Yes. And at the end of the day, a child goes hungry, the person who feels it the most is the mother.
Yeah, true.
Not the dad, most of the time, that's the truth.
Yes.
A child is not going to school, yes, nobody has money, but who feels it the most? The mother feels like I have failed my kid. So ladies always want consolation. You want a place where somebody will give you an assurance that at the end of the tunnel, there's light.
Yes.
You get that?
Yeah.
So the ladies, they want somebody who will give them that assurance that however much this is happening, it is the work of God. It shall be well.
Yes.
And it is not only...
Just hope.
It is not only in Ezekiel's church.
Just hope.
Statistics have it that a big chunk of congregations in all the churches are women.
Yeah.
Yes. So for me, it could be societal orientation that makes women to, they want to acquire that spiritual assurance. Some also want success within the shortest time possible.
Yeah.
Some have also been ridiculed by the society and they want to prove the society wrong. So they end up going.
Especially when it comes to marriage.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that is my take why women could be there. And for me, I would really be sorry for somebody who criticizes women for going there.
Yes.
It is the society.
Yeah.
It is not them going by their own. Every woman wants to be successful, especially if you've been ridiculed. You want to prove worthful of who you are.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, I would not criticize a mom or a young lady.
I think we just go through a lot and we just want solutions
to the problems.
Yeah.
So
and Ezekiel and
the holy water
and the holy water and
the
the
handkerchief
anointing oil.
And the anointing oil and the good works.
But you see, Ezekiel, most of his followers and some have actually testimonies of being helped.
Of course.
Their conditions improving because of Pastor Ezekiel.
Yeah.
So the question is, who is the true servant of God? I think that is where what we don't understand. We need to understand who is a true prophet.
Yeah.
Which church is the church of God?
I guess.
Because there are a lot of churches.
Yeah.
Here in Ruiru, in Nairobi, we have a church is here. The next church, same day, fellowshipping on the same day.
And they all use public address systems.
Yes, it's all noisy all over the place. But yeah, so.
But Julie, what do you think about talking about the true man of God or the true church? It's never easy. I think we have reached a situation whereby you need to know God on your heart.
Yeah, and that's why
Yes.
I think, sorry to say, but most of us have become so lazy in interpreting the Word of God. We have the Bible there.
Yes.
We are able to read what the Bible states, but then we need another person to interpret the Word for us. I think that is where we go wrong.
And maybe it could not be that we are lazy as per se, but then from what we just said, consolation. You can read the Bible and understand, but at the end of the day, you want that consolation. You want someone from somewhere to give you an assurance.
You don't trust the Word of God for such a consolation?
You trust the Word of God, but maybe your interpretation might not suit your situation.
But everyone interprets the Bible in their own.
Julie, you cannot be your own doctor, even if you are a surgeon.
What do you think? Let
Yes.
us know, please, in the comment section. What do you think? Do you think you can't just interpret the Bible? And by the way, because of such stories, I think at the same time, Satan is fighting the church through this. Yes, because most of the people are now shying away from churches. They are saying they'd rather just be at home, chilling, watching Netflix.
One of the most famous comments now is, that is why I'm not going to church.
Yeah,
That's why I don't go to church.
Everyone is now coming up with an excuse why they are not attending churches.
Yes.
And the trust, we are losing it. The church is losing it. And that's why we support Mama Ida, who was once...
Yeah, she actually called for a regulation
of the
churches and create sanity. Yes, because the church has
the
been
small
commercialized.
churches actually?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe the church has been commercialized.
Yes.
But for me, go to church and pray. If it is a must that now, even if you don't have a lazimu utoe kitu, then I think that is the end. For me, that is the end of going to church. I should give something out of my own goodwill, but I should not be coerced to remove money using scriptures in the Bible.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. And to my viewers, what do you think? Do you think these pastors are innocent and someone is just being used to sanitize the other? What do you think? Let us know, please, in the comment section. And why are you not going to church? You can also let us know about that in the comment section.
Yeah.
Because I believe you have a reason. And do you think the government is just clueless on who to detain? They're just taking every other pastor, because the other day Pastor Nganga was also saying, come for me. Yeah. So what do you think? Yes, let us know in the comment section. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Julie.
Mr. Boya. Please subscribe, like, and press the notification bell for all the updates.